See, the whole purpose of this video is to encourage you. If you're a young producer, you're just starting out, I would advise you, take music theory seriously. Try to learn a little bit. You don't even have to go too crazy. Just learn a little bit of music theory. If you're already a big guy and you're winning and you think you want to upscale it, if you see this, think about it. Consider taking up theory classes. It will help you a ton. Trust me. Hey, what's going on, world? 8Notes here. Let's talk about music theory in relation to music production and mix engineering. You see, in today's world, music theory is not a topic that's often discussed in the producer community. You don't quite see people prioritize it that much or talk about it or like make it seem as if it's a thing that should be cared about. So it begs the question, should we still care about music theory? Is it important to us? Do we need music theory at all, or we should just go ahead and click away? You see, oftentimes when I listen to music, old music, new music alike, I'm able to tell and appreciate how much or how little the producer knows music theory or applied it in that production. I mean, it's not just me. Even to the average listener, there's always a difference. Sometimes you can't tell why you feel the way you feel that way or why that song sounds or feels so good. With the certain records that you listen to and it just feels so mechanical, it feels so, it's just, should I say basic? Or obviously simplicity is the best form of sophistication, but then it's a thing that we should really think about. Music theory is like theory to music is like a language to speech. I think that's a great comparison. So theory to music is like language to speech. When we are kids, we're just making gibberish sounds, and then gradually we learn to speak a certain language. And you would agree with me, music is a language, right? We talk about that all the time. And if you're born in a certain country where English is not the primary language, if you had to learn English, you would first of all learn alphabets, and then how to pronounce these alphabets, and then put them into words and how to pronounce these words, and then learn sentences, and then that's how you learn English, right? Before you start to speak English, you already have the fundamentals, the basics, how to form words, punctuations, and all these little things. If you give it enough time, you learn English to a point where you can now write your own stories and read your favorite books. All these things come to play later on where it starts feeling natural. You can just express yourself in English, regardless of the fact that it wasn't your original language. And for other people who are born in countries where English is the primary language, that's what everyone speaks, that's what their mom, their dad, family, whatever, everyone spoke English around them. It's more natural for them. They just speak English. And you would realize people who are born into English speaking countries are less likely to take their English lessons seriously, because they're teaching you how to say this, how to say that. You feel like you already know how to say it. You can already say it without, something in your head makes you think you don't need this training that much. You don't need this English lessons that much. But you come out to the real world and you realize if you had learned English from the basics up, from the ground up, you writing books, being able to spell things properly wouldn't be a problem to you. Like right now in the world, you see all social media, the influencers, like people spelling things wrongly. I mean wrong, because obviously English is evolving, but you can tell, how are you? I'm fine. That's like the AM, fine, not I''M or I am fine. They just put it there. I'll say, oh, you're great, and I spell it as YOUR. Yeah, I understand you. You understand. We understand each other. But is that right though? Is that how it's supposed to be? You see, in today's world, musically speaking, we are so engulfed in loops, samples like MIDI packs, and that's what most of us use right now to create music. That's great, makes the work faster and easier, but how efficient is that to you as a music producer? How far will it get you? And are you really okay with that? Are you able to express yourself fully in that manner? Now look at it this way. Look at it as driving, for instance. If you want to become a driver, you understand you need to go take the theory test and then learn theory, take the theory test and learn practical and take the practical test before you'll be given a driver's license and you'll be deemed a qualified driver or someone who's allowed to be on the road. That's not the same if you're from a small town or a little village and you just want to move from point A to point B. You hop into your friend's car, they show you how to turn on a vehicle, how to shift gears and how to move, how to brake. That's it. That's all. You're good. But that's not the same in a big city. In comparison, if you're just doing music for fun, you're just doing, little music here and there, that's totally okay. You can get away with that. But if you plan to upscale your music, enlarge your career and take it far enough, do you think you'll really do well at the end of the day without this basic knowledge? Well, yes, there are so many great producers right now and so many great engineers who have little to zero music theory knowledge and they're doing just fine. I get it. Most producers don't even know how to play an instrument, and that's okay. But then look at it like this. How much bigger would they get if they added a little music theory knowledge to their already existing greatness? Can you imagine how big they would potentially become, or the possibilities of what they could do that they currently can't because they just don't even know it exists or it's possible without the theory knowledge, if you get what I'm saying. So yeah, music theory is much more like driving. Like I said, if you think you're gonna just go to a big city and start driving, you learn the hard way, in the sense that you have to make certain mistakes. And considering the fact that you have no ideas about road signs, road markings, traffic signs, and all these little things that you would have been shown in theory, you never had theory classes. So now you're just driving on the road and learning from your mistakes. So until you violate a law and get fined for it, that's where you learn, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I won't do it again next time. But now you've lost money. And if you do that many times enough, you lose your license. But let's say you don't lose your license and they keep finding you. You learn at the expense of losing money and losing time. The amount of time that you spend realizing your mistakes would have been less. It would have been shortened. You would have avoided all this expenditure if only you learned the theory of driving in the first place. So when we go back to music, as a mix engineer and as a producer myself, I cannot emphasize enough how many times or how often I realize and appreciate the fact that I took out a little time to learn music theory coming up or starting out. I meet so many challenges. Let me tell you, the challenges that you meet here as a mix engineer or as a music producer, and you solve them in a snap without even realizing what you just did, that's because you know the theory behind it. It saves you so much time. It's like you encounter a problem, you could solve it in two ways. You could either try this, try that, see what works, and then, oh, this works. Or you just go straight to the point. With pitch correction, for instance, you could look, if you have music theory knowledge here, you could look at a note in a pitch corrector or a pitch tuning tool or plugin like Melodyne or Flex Pitch, and someone's singing, right? And you look at the notes and you can tell what key the song is in based off of the notes and the scale degrees, right? If you don't know these things, you'll have to pull up the auto tune, for instance, and try all the keys one by one. If you know it, on the other hand, you could find a keyboard and figure it out. Oh, what key is this song in? And now you know exactly what key the song was written in and exactly what to input to your pitch correction system. If it's automatic tuning, if it's manual tuning, you know what to do. Sometimes as a mix engineer, you get songs that are not in the major scale. they have notes that are not in the major scale in the lead vocals or in other instruments. Music theory knowledge will let you understand what that note is and why it's there and what to bypass and what to allow in your automatic pitch correction system. If you don't know this, you just it's a trial and error thing for you. It takes you, so knowing music theory will save you so much time, make you work more efficiently. As a music producer, it would expand your horizons to a great limitless level where you now understand why you loved the things that you loved as a musician, learning or coming up, or before you even started practicing. There are certain things that you would hear, like modulation, like transposition, and you were like, oh, that was so smooth, how did they do that? Now you're practicing, maybe you do it in some way, but you really don't know why you're doing the things you're doing or how you do it, but you just get it done. There's a lot more satisfaction when you really understand the things that you're doing and why you're doing them. Also, it boosts your confidence as a producer. Let's say you're in a room, right? You're in a session and then there's an artist coming, they're singing. Music theory would let you understand, oh, this is a great composition, right? This is a great instrumental. How about we try to sing this on a lower octave, or let's pitch this instrumental down, or let's do this, let's do that. It boosts your own confidence and the confidence of your artists in you, because they now have the perception, and it's not just the perception, it's reality. They can see that you know exactly what you're doing, you know exactly what you're talking about. You're not just here just clicking buttons. So as compared to, like I was saying earlier, if you plan to scale your music really large and become a serious musician and a big musician and take it seriously, someday you will meet artists who know exactly what they're doing. Someday you'll come across an artist who is actually a musician, who will tell you, oh, this verse I did, oh, this song I did, let's pitch these 2 semitones up. And you're looking at him or her like, what did he just say? What is a semitone? What is a whole tone? What's that? You know? Whereas, and now if you exhibit those elements of surprise to them, like, you don't know what a semitone is, they start losing confidence in you. They start feeling like you really don't know exactly what you're doing, or you need too much guidance, or you need, you know, like, can I have someone else? They start talking to the manager or whatever. They wish they would like to have someone else, right? This is not me discouraging you or telling you if you don't know music theory, you're done. Nah, that's not it. You can do so much. There's people who play instruments by ear, cannot read music, they do great. There's people who produce great music, award-winning music, but they don't know music theory, and that's fine. But I'm only saying, if you plan to scale up your music production, if you plan to take it seriously, if you realize, if you want to see how much more you can do, you should consider taking music theory lessons. It doesn't have to be a whole lot. You don't have to be Beethoven or Oscar Peterson on keys and stuff like that, but it's just the little ones, the scales, the major scale. Understand what a major scale is, and not just memorizing it. Understand how it's spelled, the tone, semitone, tone, semitone rule of how to create a major scale. Learn how to create minor scales, how to build them, how to build a pentatonic scale. Learn all these things. It will help you as a producer. Even when you're working with loops, it's a lot easier and quicker for you to browse through your library, because you play this loop, you listen to it, you can tell what progression that is, and you can already imagine what notes are in each chords, because what makes a song is just notes in melodies and chords. It's just melodies and chords. That's what makes every song. 8 notes. 8 notes is just, there's 8 notes in the major scale of every key. That makes an octave, right? So that's pretty much how all the songs in the world are built. That's something an idea I had back in like 2010, and I used it as a username for social media. That was just it. Before my friends started calling me 8 notes, it sounded weird at first, and now I'm used to it. It's become my brand name, it's become my business name now. So yeah, but anyways, I digress. What I'm trying to say is, all these little basics will help you in the long run. And just like with the driving that I said, if you intend to drive in a major city, best believe you will know, or you have to know all your road signs. You have to know all your road markings and say, oh, if there's broken lines, I have to wait and watch the road before I cross. If the line on the highway or the motorway is not broken, I can't overtake anyone. All these little things will be discovered on your way to greatness in your music career. So yeah, they say practice makes perfect, yeah, but you have to realize and keep in mind that that's not really true. Practice doesn't just make perfect. It's correct practice that makes perfect. If you keep practicing the wrong things, regardless how long you practice these things for, you won't get perfect. If you practice the wrong thing, you'd exceed your 10,000 hours and you won't get the desired results. So you have to always practice the right thing, practice correctly, and then you will make perfect. This is just an inspiration that I had to make this video based off a song I just listened to recently, and I was so blown away by the composition, by the arrangement, by how synchronized everything was, how fused together everything was, and there was no falling apart of elements of the song, or like, you know, noticeable gaps and stuff, if you get what I mean. But anyways, thank you very much for watching this video. If you learned at least one thing on here, I hope you did. Like the video and subscribe to the page, to the channel. I'll make more videos like this. If you have questions or arguments, whatever it is, just put them in the comments and drop your thoughts. I'll be very happy to see your comments and I'll respond to every one of them. Maybe get an idea to make another video from there. Thank you very much. Stay tuned. Have a great day. Have a great week. Have a great month and year. I'll see you again on the next video. Peace.